Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. This week we are checking out Godzilla, King of the Monsters, sequel to the 2014 reboot. Grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy.
I wouldn't go as far as saying like the poopy smell, but like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just a little bit more. There's some juice to it.
I'm not sure I agree.
Okay, not
sure.
juice. That creates an image that's not intended.
Josh, how are you this week?
I'm okay, I guess. Do I feel like I say that every week. I'm neither great nor terrible. I'm always fine. Whatever.
Just a flat line medium.
Yeah. Victor, how am I?
Do I really want to know?
The tale is not for the faint of heart. It all started with a girl. That girl. I wish I could say that's me. Heck, I'd even settle for that guy. There. That's me. That's all I can remember.
I wasn't sure how far you were going to go with that.
Oh, man.
That's
I
really
watched the first Spider-Man so many times as a kid. You need to turn off your notifications, Victor. Unprofessional. Next, you're gonna be chewing gum. How am I, Victor? I'm doing well. How's that? Is that more on the scale of positive?
Sure, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I'm uncomfortable. Like I still feel uncomfortable from the theater. It was very hot in the theater.
Yeah, and it's kind of surprising because there wasn't that many people.
No.
Actually, there were supposed to be some guys that bought seats in front of us, and they just didn't show. I'm assuming they decided, you know what? This movie's not worth it. Not worth sitting through. Do you see the guys that left halfway through the movie?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I think it was a dad and his son just like walked out.
Oh man, I wish I could do that, but at the same time, I'm A, too cheap, and B, I love to see a story reach its conclusion, no matter how good or bad it is.
I feel like if you're already invested that much time into it,
Because then you're just like, well, now I have to rent it when it comes out because I don't know how the story ends.
yeah, it's like what if I get curious later on?
Yeah.
Am I just gonna be thinking about that? It's gonna occupy more brain space for a longer period of time
And I
than
mean,
if I just sat there and finished the movie.
of course, you know how it's going to end, but how is it going to get there?
It's not about the ending, but the journey.
Yeah.
This journey sucks.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Let's backpedal. Victor, how are you this week?
I am exhausted.
You're exhausted?
I feel like I say that every time. I'm tired in some form.
You've been working a lot this week, right?
Yeah, I pulled an all-nighter last night. No, night before, which I haven't done since college.
Sounds to me like either you've got a lot of work or you have poor time management.
It's definitely not the time management thing. All right? Right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's say a bit of both.
Okay. I found that now that like I have a full-time job, you just don't have time for things. It's annoying.
At least you don't have to do the commute.
That's true. Well, that's when I got some of like my me time stuff done. Like that's when I would read, when it would be on the train.
You can read on the train?
Oh yeah.
It's so crowded though.
What, you're afraid someone's going to read it over your shoulder?
No, it's just not comfortable.
I always find a seat. One of those people. Like if I go in and the car's completely full, you walk to another car.
Yeah. I don't know. I always hated doing that. Because, most of the cars are fine because the doors open between the carts.
Mhm.
But then there's some where you have to like struggle quite a bit. And I don't like.
Struggle.
Not that. I don't like. I can feel the eyes on me when I'm struggling to
I
open the
see.
doors. Because I'm always watching people struggle. I think it's hilarious.
So you do you people watch then?
No, for sure. It's like
Yeah.
majority of the stuff I do when I go to like sports events or any kind of social event.
That's
Gathering.
that's something I miss. Half of my commute was like 15 to 20 minute walk, and I'd people watch while I'd walk. I have to put on sunglasses though, so no one knows that I'm watching them. But it's just like you see the most random things when you people watch, when people don't think they're being watched. Like,
Sounds really creepy, but
No,
yes.
no, we're saying it. But I think it's part of our artist routes. 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 But yeah, I remember this one time I was walking through Toronto and this like pretty attractive girl, she sees me and like she kind of like straightens up and like puts out her boobs, Like, you know how like girls do
Straighten
that
out
when
your back. Yeah.
Yeah, they straighten out their back and they're kind of like, and I'm not used to that at all, as I'm not what you would say classically handsome.
Okay.
All right. Well, if you disagree, I'll take.
No, I'm just trying to picture what you're trying. Okay. Yeah, go on.
But you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I'm not someone who turns heads when I walk in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, that's weird. And then this giant jack dude walks beside me as she passes, and I was like, that makes more sense. I was like, yes, okay, we're back to status quo.
It'd be funny if like they both like puffed up their chests. They walked by.
Well, he did the same thing, right? Like
He's probably flexing.
Yeah.
She's flexing back.
Yeah. It's so silly. Have you seen some weird stuff?
I encountered some weird shit last week. Went downtown for the poutine festival.
Oh yeah.
You sure went, by the way. It was.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Oh wait, you were at home visiting family. That's why I didn't invite you. Probably.
Sure.
Yep. Let's
This
go with
is
that.
the first time hearing about it, Victor.
Let's go with that.
Sorry, I'm not good enough for your poutine festival.
That's what you get for having a family, Josh.
Yeah. Okay, you're at the poutine festival.
We were walking. We decided to go get coffee and some ice cream at Sweet Jesus.
Are you sure it's not Sweet Jesus?
You know what? I could be wrong.
Is there a Spanish guy behind the counter?
No.
Is he like overly kind and kind of like adorable?
No, but she was Asian.
Okay. I'm just going to picture this like very jolly Hispanic man serving you ice cream. Is it? Because he's Sweet Jesus. That's what everyone calls him. Look at Jesus. He is so sweet. Anyway, Sweet Jesus.
Anyways,
You're getting ice
there.
cream.
I had my camera around with me because we were doing my friend and I were doing some street photography. But some homeless dude like ran up to us. And I was like, oh crap. He had a beer in one hand and a cigarette in another. And he starts yelling some gibberish at my friend and I.
Uh-huh.
And he got up right in my face. I was ready for a fight. I was so pumped. Not in a good way, but like, you know, your
adrenaline is pumping.
Kicks in. Just like, crap. Am I really going to have to, because I think I still have my poutine with me in one hand. So it's like, crap. Am I going to have to like fight him off with one hand? And he's got a beer and a cigarette in his other two hands. Yeah, I don't know. That's the second time I've been.
Oh, is that the end of that story?
Yeah.
Cool story, bro.
But like that's all right. That's the second time I've ever encountered a confrontation like that in Toronto. And both times was with my friend who just moved from Nova Scotia.
So what you're saying is he's the problem.
He's probably the problem.
He's got like homeless pheromones.
But it's funny because like when I finally like got that guy away from me, I turned around and my friend was gone. He was like 20 feet away. He was walking. He wasn't even looking at me. He was facing the other way walking.
Oh, it's good to know that he has your back.
Right? He's like, you look like you had it. And it's like, you could have stuck around.
I'm sure he would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because if anything, crazy people give up easy in fights.
Because they have stuff to lose, right?
Yeah. Well, that trumps my story. I was just going to tell you, I saw a dude's penis once while I was walking around Toronto. There was a jogger. He was wearing very loose shorts.
Uh-huh.
And he was sitting down to take a breather. And I just kind of like glanced at him. And I was just like, I think I saw his penis. And then it was one of those things where you go, I think I saw his penis. And then your head is kind of like, nah, we should look again to confirm.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there it was, just hanging out for the world to see.
That probably felt great for him, though.
I don't know if it would. Anyway.
It hurts to think about.
Victor, should we talk about some news?
Yeah, out of homeless people and penis stories, right?
Well, no, but, you know. Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, after its announcement that it was going to redesign Sonic after fan backlash, it's been delayed. It went from November 8th to February 14th.
Wow, 4 months.
That makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm glad they did it.
Do you think they went back to like the concept board and just grabbed an old design that was actually accurate to wherever they were thinking?
I think that probably what happened was they went into panic mode when the trailer came out, and they're like, well, we gotta do something. The fans are going to hate it, and they hate it, and they're not going to watch it. So we have to do something. And so the director's like, I got this. He goes on Twitter and says, we're going to redesign it. And then immediately the animation supervisor was like, yeah, there's no time for that. We can't meet the release date. Like, just do it. And then it took them probably 3-4 weeks
Yeah.
for them to be like, oh, you guys really can't do it.
Yeah, no shit.
And it's just like, yeah, even with overtime, we're not going to be able to do it. So they pushed it. That's probably exactly what happened.
But do you think they had that design already ready? Or do you think they actually no?
No. Maybe they had concepts, like like flat 2D concept art. But you wouldn't waste the time and the man hours to make a 3D model of concept art. That's the whole reason for concept art, right?
Oh, I mean, like, do you think they had a concept art drawn ready?
Maybe. I don't know. It could go either way. It could be like they just grabbed one from the pile, or they grabbed one from the pile and then we're like, okay, but we need to do this to it and we need to do this.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in that meeting. Imagine it's like that one guy who had that, they did that design. It's like, yeah, I told you so. You're an idiot for picking that other design. Just gotta fake it till you make it, you know?
Yeah, they say that, but you really can't with animation.
No,
Your work kind of speaks for itself.
Not your work, though.
Apparently that's a thing because Sheridan College is a really hard school to get into. Like it's rated as the #1 animation school in the world.
Really? The world?
Well, they have a really good marketing team.
Oh.
It's debatable from people in the industry. But so anyway, it's really hard to get in. And so a lot of people hire somebody to do their portfolio for them, like the admission portfolio.
Whoa. How much do you think they pay?
Oh, I don't know. I was going to say $200, but maybe that's $1,000.
Man.
I don't know. I'm not good at prices writing black market stuff.
Make some good money.
How much do you think my kidney would go for?
80,000.
I'm going to say 80,001.
It's not. Dang
it. That's Sonic for you, Victor. Did you hear that the Raptors are in the finals?
Yeah.
The basketball team.
Did you watch that last game?
Victor,
I don't know why.
Did you just ask me?
Yeah, I know.
Did you watch that sports event?
Yeah. I realized my mistake.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
No. No, I didn't see it. I saw people dancing on buses after they won.
I thought Toronto was going to be absolutely awful because I was downtown for that game.
Where are you?
I wasn't at the game, but I was downtown at a friend's house. We were watching it. He had a big screen TV. It was pretty intense. They were neck and neck all the way through the game, actually. Raptors were behind for 3 quarters. Anyways, yeah, 100%. I thought Toronto's going to be just a mess, cars being flipped over and stuff. But I'm glad they won. And apparently this event was a good representation of how fans should act for a sporting event.
Yeah, because I don't understand the thought behind I'm so happy, let's break some windows and flip some cars and set some fires.
Even if you lost.
I can understand how anger could take you there. It's not something I would do, but...
Yeah, I feel like I could understand, but I would have to do quite a few hurdles to get to that point.
Well, I'm just not invested that much in sporting events because did you know that they happen every year?
What?
Yeah. Apparently they happen every year. And so if they don't get in this year, you can always get in next year.
No, I don't know. That's a...
I also just don't care. But so they got into the finals. Yeah. So this is not even they won the...
Honestly, I have no idea.
Stanley Tucci. What is it called? What is the NBA trophy called?
It's the NBA trophy.
That's it?
That's probably it.
Oh, okay.
100%.
They don't have a special name for it? Like the Stanley Cup?
Definitely not.
Okay.
I have no idea.
So they haven't even won that then. So they still have to do the finals tournament.
But I believe this is the first time they've done it in a very long time or ever.
Well, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them. Black Widow started filming.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's some set photos of Scarlett Johansson on the scene, sporting some red hair.
Has this been confirmed to be a Y2K thing?
No, nothing has been confirmed. It hasn't even been announced by Marvel. So there's no firm details. The only thing we know now is that they're filming a movie with Scarlett Johansson. That's probably Black Widow.
Interesting. I'm down with that.
Yeah. And the movie Shang-Chi has started casting.
Oh, that's exciting.
People are just based on the character description of who they're casting. They think it's Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Victor, Hellboy officially ended its movie theater run. The movie we opted not to see.
Whew.
It made only $40 million worldwide.
Nice.
Altogether. Its budget was $50 million though.
Oh shit, that movie's dead.
So that's classified as a bomb.
So I'm guessing that franchise isn't getting revived anytime soon.
Probably not. I didn't see it, so I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing. But yeah,
Come
it's probably they lost more than 10 million on it though, because the thought is there's the production budget of 50 million, and then most movies you double that for the marketing budget, so it probably lost a good $60 million.
That's a chunk of change. Do you think, with that in mind, do you think they would go back to Guillermo del Toro's vision for Hellboy 3?
No, I don't think so. That would be the best case scenario for a fan, right?
Yeah.
I think that they would just be like, nope, we didn't make money when we revitalized it. Why would we expect to make money by going back and making a second sequel to a franchise from the early 2000s that wasn't all that popular in the 2000s?
Yeah, I guess. Did you see Guillermo del Toro's new video game? I don't know if he's directing it or writing it.
Are you talking about the Kojima one?
Yeah. I think him and Kojima are like co-producing. Anyways, his name's attached to it.
I saw like the 8-minute gameplay trailer.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
It kind of looks interesting. It also kind of looks very boring.
Yeah. You remember Metal Gear 4? Metal Gear Solid 4?
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that game in the sense that like there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of story presented to you. But unlike Metal Gear, you have no backstory. You have no
it's the same guy, right?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense then. The world looks really interesting, and I like the idea of being like that kind of delivery man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks like it's bogged down a lot of lore.
Yeah. It seems like to me when I watched that, it felt like they were in a room, they were just pitching ideas, and then all those ideas made it into the trailer.
Well, it's also just it's not a negative thing, but Japanese creators tend to have a completely different vision on how to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great, but I find it's, to me personally, it's often very confusing, and like a lot of stuff comes out of nowhere, but I'm sure it's all based in kind of cultural things as well. I find like every Final Fantasy game that I've ever played where you're just like, who thought of this? Like, this is so involved and tedious, and like all the details have been thought out, and it's all intricate, and it's just like,
I think there's like a good way to do that, and then it's also one of those things that can be done poorly very easily.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm not a good judge of whether that is good or bad.
Gotcha.
Because it is so different from the Americanized storytelling.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like that's why I can't watch anime, because I'm like, is this good? Should I watch this?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm willing to give it a shot just because I like both Kojima and Del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of Norman Reedus as the main character.
No,
just visually, I don't know. I can't split him from The Walking Dead.
He's kind of a scuzzy looking guy too. I'll say it.
That's part of his charm.
Yeah.
What you got over there, Josh?
So, Victor, did you see the Rambo trailer that came out this week?
Yeah.
This week there was like no news, and I was like a little worried about what we were going to talk about. And then this morning the Rambo trailer came out, and I was like, oh, thank goodness. What did you think of the trailer?
I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It has a very like Western feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit though, I haven't seen the other Rambos except for the first one. So I've seen First Blood and I'm going to see Last Blood.
I thought you saw Rambo 4, like the reboot one that he did.
No.
Oh, okay.
If I did, I don't remember any of it.
They're kind of nuts. First Blood is a really interesting movie. And I think when people think Rambo, they often think of Rambo 2 or Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Wait, really? That's what it's called?
Yeah, and then the third one is called Rambo 3, and the fourth one is called Rambo.
Oh, no.
Anyway, but yeah, most people, as far as like pop culturally, they think of Rambo 2 as Rambo. First Blood is it's a lot different than what people are expecting.
Yeah, it definitely was very off what I was originally imagining. But I liked it. It was like a slow burn.
Yeah, and he cries at the end. How often do you see an action hero cry at the end of the movie? Like, not like he was a good man or whatever, and single tear. Like he so weeps and sobs, and he's just like, they all died. So you're excited about this one?
Yeah. What did you think of it?
It looks like it's more in tone with the first Rambo, First Blood, which I like. But I'm also kind of sick of seeing movies where the actors, especially like 75-year-old actors, coming back to movies that made them a star. Like I'm kind of sick of the revitalization of a franchise. hopefully this is like a send off to the character though.
Yeah.
Because realistically, he's not going to be able to do another one. He's like, I think he's like 60, 69 or something, 69 or 70 now.
If we had just left off at Rambo 4, would it have been a good movie to end it on?
I can't remember how that one ends. There's a giant shootout.
That makes sense.
All I can really remember from that one is he gets on a turret and is
from the trailer.
mowing down people. Yeah, I've only seen that one, I think, maybe once.
That's surprising.
It's not as memorable, but people tend to like that one for the action. So yeah, I'm kind of sick of that. I wish people would have the integrity to leave stuff alone and just, let us enjoy those movies. Don't ruin it by keep coming back to it.
But what if this was amazing though?
Doesn't look amazing. It looks serviceable. It looks competent, but like it doesn't look like it's gonna blow my socks off. But
unlike Terminator, right? Yeah.
So I don't know. It here's the thing. To me, it looked like an interesting old man revenge movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's a revenge. I think he gets beat up and then he goes and kills everyone because they beat him up.
That's a good reason.
I mean, I think that's what they were showing. I only watched the trailer once. Sorry if that's wrong. But it looks interesting as that, but I hate that they just it kind of gave me the feeling that they just slapped the Rambo name on
like
top
it could have
of
been any other character.
Yeah.
And it would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I'm excited. Yeah, I got nothing else on that one.
No. Shall we move on? Let's move on.
Okay. Anyways, we went and saw a movie tonight.
Yeah, boy, did we.
Yeah, it was actually kind of nice. We went and saw the 4:30 show. So 2 hours, got back, started recording. Same time we would normally.
No one cares about that, Victor.
No, but it's nice though. Because otherwise we watch a movie after work and then we do the recording and it's like 11, 12 by the time we're done.
Yeah.
So nice change.
11, 12 exactly.
Shut up, Josh. Yeah, we watched Godzilla,
King of the Monsters. Victor, non-spoilers, what do you think of this movie?
This movie was 2 hours. It could have easily been an hour and 30, hour and 20. There's a lot of stuff. I was telling you earlier that like I try not to watch or read reviews on movies before we go to watch.
Yeah.
But I caught a glimpse of a title which was saying like less humans, more monster fights. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking back to Pacific Rim 2, which you didn't see.
Yeah.
First movie had a lot of complaints about like, oh, there's a lot of like human elements. You couldn't really see what was going on with the robot fights. And then for the sequel, they basically took all the criticism from the fans and gave us like fights that you can clearly see everything going on. And more robot fights, less people. So I was thinking like, oh, maybe it's going to be like that. Well, it's going to be less people and more monster fights. Because the first movie didn't really have that much Godzilla in it. This one definitely has a lot more, but I wouldn't say it's enough.
Yeah, but that's like all Godzilla movies though.
Yeah, so I guess if you go like that route, if you reference like traditional, like the first original Godzilla films, then yeah, it's pretty accurate to the ratio.
Yeah. Non-spoilers.
What do you think?
I didn't like this movie.
Yeah.
It was really long. Ton of characters I didn't care about in it. Spent way too much time with them. And I didn't really love the monster fights either. By the time we got to them, they were fine. Like they were cool, but like I was just so exhausted by the time we got to them.
Yeah.
That I was just like, don't.
Yeah, it's like they're feeding you a bunch of appetizers and you're looking forward to the end, but then by the time you get
I filled up on bread, Victor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
Yeah.
Shut up, Josh.
Let's get into the spoilers. I don't care.
Nice. Yeah.
What is there to spoil? Godzilla wins.
He's the king of monsters.
Yeah. Do you want to break down the plot? If you can, Victor. This was convoluted. Sort of.
So after the first Godzilla movie, they figure out that there are titans all around the globe.
I don't know why they didn't just call them kaiju.
Because it's the American side. So they're like...
But they gave every single monster the Japanese name.
But didn't they reference didn't they find that in the lore of where they discovered the monsters though?
Yeah, but it's still the Japanese name.
Yeah, you're right, for sure. Anyways, there's a private organization that gets formed.
Monarch. Yeah, they were. Did you watch Kong Skull Island? No, Monarch was referenced a lot in that.
Oh, yeah.
They referenced Kong a lot in this movie.
I remember twice came up.
Oh, it was a few times. They mentioned Kong a few times, but they mentioned Skull Island a bunch of times. And then of course Monarch, which was the company that was hunting Kong in the movie. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
But so this organization Monarch is keeping tabs on all these titans and we find out that there's 17 and counting that they're discovering.
Right. We did not see 17 though.
No, I think we saw maybe 7 or 8. There's 5 at the end there.
Okay, so there was Gojira,
Godzilla,
Ghidorah,
Rodan, Mothra. That
Then-
one that from the first one.
oh yeah, the Moto or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Muto. There's that weird bull-looking thing with like the horns.
Oh, like the mammoth gorilla.
Yeah, that was.
And then there was
freaking
a
awesome.
crab spider thing.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it, right? So we're missing a good 10. I was expecting the what's the turtle one?
Gamera.
Gamera. That's how you say it.
Oh, makes sense.
Gamera.
He looks like one of those monsters from like the original Ninja Turtles movies.
Toka?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Toka. That's a terrible name.
Okay, sorry. Let's get back to it. The plot was Monarch. They've
keeping-
been monitoring all of these kaiju.
There is a scientist.
Played by Vera from Farmiga, I think her name is.
Sure.
Farmiga.
And she develops this device called the Orca, which allows them to, I guess, transmit or broadcast like a frequency that the monsters can understand.
Yeah. It's basically just
And
it's the equivalent of the Raptor 3D printed vocal cords in Jurassic Park 3. It's basically that.
Sure.
Do you remember that?
Nope.
No. Okay.
And there's 3 modes that they can broadcast. It's one that calms them down, which they demonstrate on Mothra.
Uh-huh.
One that agitates them, and then one that draws them. Or is that the same one that agitates them?
I don't know.
Who gives a crap? Anyways, also Charles Dance, who was in Game of Thrones, is in this. I can't remember the character he plays.
Oh, it's the head Lannister.
Yes.
Tyron? No,
Tywin. Tywin
Tywin.
Lannister. There you go. Kyle Chandler is the main character in this. He's the dad.
Yeah, from Friday Night Lights.
Oh, is that where he's from? I
Yeah.
recognize. I just couldn't remember where I've seen him.
Yeah. Well, he's been in a few movies. He's like discount John Hamm.
Yeah, I see it.
So they created this device that basically they can control or at least direct the kaiju with it. And they tested it out on Mothra, and immediately Charles Dance shows up, kills everyone in the room except for this lady scientist, Vera from here. I can't remember her name. Do you remember her name in the movie?
Nope.
She looked like a Helen or a Karen, something stupid. She was a dumb character. Sorry if your guy's name is Helen or Karen. She had the type of personality that was like, I want to speak to the manager. But anyway, so she gets kidnapped, and that brings Kyle Chandler in, who is her ex-husband who helped develop the device, the Orca. Basically, it's just a long, drawn out plot of him trying to find his ex-wife and his daughter, who's played by Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. And then meanwhile, she's been kidnapped by a terrorist organization they want to awaken all the kaiju on the planet because that will reset the planet. It's another one of those movies where the humans are the bad guys and we're destroying the planet. So we need to do something drastic to stop humanity from being a humanity.
Yeah. As that's going on, we see glimpses of Godzilla here and there. He fights Ghidorah,
the 3-headed dragon. Yeah, that was the thing. That's the Godzilla has been around for a while, and everyone's just like, no, Godzilla's a good guy. Let's forget he destroyed San Francisco.
Yeah, no big deal.
And then Mothra is just one that was born in this movie, and then the terrorist group goes and wakes up Ghidorah, and they realize pretty quickly that Ghidorah is also an apex predator, like Godzilla. And so because they set that one free, like they don't have a lot of control over it. And they actually find out that it's from another planet, like it was in the Japanese movie.
I'm glad they stuck that in because that's a pretty big detail.
I thought Mothra was from Mars as well.
Something like that. Also, I like in the line, they were like, so Mothra when it's born is caterpillar looking thing. And like, oh, when a cocoon is going to come out with something completely different, but we have no idea what it is. You know its name is Mothra.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be? Cocoons?
You keep calling it Mothra. Imagine if it turned into like a squid. It's like, well, that's just a terrible name.
Who came up with this crap?
What did you think of Millie Bobby Brown in this movie?
You know what? All the people, I think the performances were pretty good.
The writing was pretty bad.
Yes, the writing was bad. I don't think half the stuff that any of these characters were doing needed to be done in this movie.
Yeah, it was a lot of technical jargon There's a lot of like, why are you here type of stuff. Like right away, the opening scene with Millie Bobby Brown and Vera, they're having breakfast together, and then the alarm goes off, and it reveals is that they're living on this Monarch base that is waiting for Mothra to open up.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, it's time. And she goes with her. This is like a 13-year-old girl. I assume this is heavily classified facility, and she's just allowed to walk around and see the monster. And
it's a private company too, and I feel like it feels like it's mostly people who are important who need to be there, and less about security. So it's probably, I don't know.
They needed more security because a terrorist group just waltzed in and killed every single one of them.
Sure, they just did. Yeah, especially if you have that kind of information. Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole like subplot about like,
well, they work with the government, so like, I mean, there has to be some sort of chain of command and some need to know stuff, right?
But like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. The terrorist group wanting to set these monsters free. The mom kind of like having doubts and arguing back and forth with the daughter about her actions and continuing with this plan with the terrorist group.
Oh yeah, sorry. We should, if you haven't seen this movie, it's revealed pretty early on, like the first time Kyle Chandler catches up with them as they're releasing Ghidorah, that Vera is actually working with the terrorist group and she is not a hostage.
Mm-hmm.
And also the daughter is working with them too at 13 years old. I mean, she's just more like pulled along, but she sides with her mom for the majority of the movie. I don't know. I kind of felt like Millie Bobby Brown's part was written for a much older character, because she did not act like a child until the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like she acted like a young person, but
like someone not 13, but maybe like 16, 17.
Maybe even like 19, 20.
That seems a little old. But yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like she just like the way that she reacted to situations, like the fact that she was just on board with her mom being a terrorist. There would be 13-year-olds who would maybe agree with their mom, but like just the way that I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but the way that they talk to each other about it, it was very much like two adults talking and not, I'm tired of explaining this to you, child.
Yeah. Like if you read the script, you'd think 16 to 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
There was a scene towards the end where Millie Bobby Brown starts, siding with the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, we shouldn't do this. And I love that Charles Dance is just like, yeah, let's rethink this now that your 13-year-old has decided to think about this or whatever.
Yeah, I love that scene because it's like, are you going to let a child tell you what to do? You straight up just called her out on it. Yeah, I don't know. This movie could have been a lot better if they had just cut out majority of like mother and the daughter stuff. Yeah,
I mean that was interesting. Like that was kind of cool. Like the whole no, I'm actually working for them. Because the backstory is that family was in San Francisco the last time Godzilla attacked, and they also had a son who had died in the attacks. And that dissolved their marriage, and it gave the wife, Vera, like a drive to fix the problem. As she explained in her villain monologue, as she researched it more, she found out that the Godzilla was the answer instead of the problem. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if it was me, I'd cut out all that mother-daughter stuff. I don't know, maybe still have her part of the organization, but keep her on the evil side. Maybe have the daughter just like as a hostage. Yeah. Going around freeing the monsters. And then it's at the end, they bring in Godzilla. They do the big fight. There's no weird intermediate sequence where Godzilla has to go away and heal.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Recover his wounds.
This whole movie, too, has been casted like it's in the 90s, where it's just like every single character. I was like, oh, I can probably pinpoint exactly when they started casting based on who's in this. It's like who was hot, at that time. I feel like they were casting this movie 2.5 years ago or something.
Just before season 2 of Stranger Things.
Yeah. So it's got Millie Bobby Brown. It's got Thomas Middleditch as, Silicon Valley's become really hot. It's got Ice Cube's son right as...
That's why he looked so familiar.
Right as Straight Outta Compton came out. They had the girl from Shape of Water right as that movie came out. So it's just like, it's all very obvious casting of just like, oh, she was good in that movie that everyone's talking about. Because they're all like paper thin characters. Like there's no depth to any of them. So it's just who will sell a ticket.
Yeah.
There's so many characters too. And they did this moment. This ticked me off so much. It has happened like 4 or 5 times in the movie where it's like the characters are running away and it's getting to the point where the monster is catching up. It's moments from touching them, just about to kill them, and then another monster shows up and hits them out of frame.
Yeah.
And they're saved. It happened like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
and
I
like by
noticed
the third time, I was just like, stop it. Like,
just kill them.
do something else, because it never happened where they didn't make it. Like every time they were saved.
I think even by like the third time, I was like, yeah, there's someone's going to show up. And like they always do that to obvious characters, like main characters. Like they're not going to die. There's no way they're going to die.
Actually, you know what? I forgot Godzilla was in this movie. Really? So you know the part where they go to Antarctica and they're awaking Ghidorah, and he starts rampaging around and everybody's dying, and I was just like, oh man, there's not gonna be enough time for them to get out in this helicopter. It's like, how are they gonna get out of this? Oh yeah, this is a Godzilla movie. And then like 10 seconds later, Godzilla showed up, and I was like, right.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't remember loving the first movie. I don't remember hating it either, but this one's pretty rough.
Yeah, the thing I kept thinking of while I was watching this movie, what the first movie did really well was making humans feel small. As in, like, there is nothing you can do while these things are rampaging around, and just showing like the feet on the ground kind of perspective of like, there's just buildings falling over and like you either make it out or you don't. And they did that really well in the first one. And this one felt very much like a blockbuster movie where it's just like, oh, the building fell on her, but she hid in the bathtub, so she's okay. Yeah. No, the little girl can't die. Whereas in the first Godzilla, she absolutely could have and maybe would have died.
A lot of people died in the first one.
Yeah. Remember when Bryan Cranston was in that movie and he died in the first half hour?
Oh yeah. Shit. Actually, there's a cool shot that I really like when they do it. It's you'll have characters running away from the fight, but then in the background, like it's focused on the background and you can see the monsters fighting. And like I like it because it gives you a bit of sense of scale, like kind of what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And also it shows you what the characters are doing, but it allows you to focus on the monsters, which is what you're there to see. They don't show it enough. Like you might see that shot for maybe 2 seconds.
I think what I really liked about the first one is that Godzilla and whatever they were fighting, the Motos, is that what they're called? Mutos?
Yeah.
They really felt like forces of nature. Like they felt like tornadoes coming through. And this one, they didn't have personalities, but they kind of implied a lot of personality to the different monsters. You understood why this one was different from that one and stuff like that. And I understand why you have to do that, but that kind of negated like the whole, I feel so out of control.
Right. Like you understand the monsters too much.
Yeah, because they're characters now instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I understand why the movie had to do that. Like otherwise, no one cares when you're watching the monster fight. I'm
just picturing the movie Twister. Imagine you understood what the Twister was, had a character to it.
Well, yeah, that like I was as I was watching the movie, I was like, this is what Jaws would be like if you were supposed to be rooting for the shark.
Interesting. Actually, I really like Ghidorah's gimmick. It's probably
like his lightning powers, you mean?
Well, like everywhere he goes, he has like a storm that follows him.
Oh, okay.
Like it's all like wherever he goes, like it's like when on the map, like they're tracking like a tropical storm. But when he flies into the fight, like there's tornadoes that form and like it's raining. I like that.
Yeah, you said you liked the monster action?
I did, but I don't think I was on the verge of liking it.
Okay.
But I feel like every time I was about to like it, they would do something stupid with it, or they wouldn't show me enough, and then they would lose me a little bit.
I really liked the shots that they kept repeating it, where it would do like an extreme wide shot and have the two kaijus on either side, and then they'd run at each other,
almost like a fighting game.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool. From
what I remember of the old Japanese movies, like they did the monsters like good service. Like
I do like that they did the whole Red Godzilla thing though.
I don't remember that at all, but I think those movies all blend together for me.
I think later on he's more of a red color.
Okay.
In the old movies. I don't know, maybe not.
What did you think of Mothra?
I really like Mothra's design in this one. She definitely stands out, like with how her wings are done and how she moves. She moves a lot slower than all the other monsters.
I think Mothra is the only character I was rooting for in this movie. And it's so weird because it's a giant moth.
But you don't know that. You don't know it's a moth. It could be Literally anything else. Anything else could come out of that cocoon.
But I don't know why. Every time Mothra showed up, I'd be like, yeah, Mothra's here. But every other thing.
You know why though? Because it was never associated with a bad scene in the movie.
That's true. Although the first time they meet Mothra, and that's the first time they're testing the Orca device, the sonar thing, it works or whatever. Like, because Mothra's like freaking out because, like, of course, there's that one guard who freaks out and fires off his gun or whatever, and that like really makes Mothra freak out. And then so the scientist comes in and she sets off her sonar device or whatever, and it calms Mothra down. They're like, wow, it worked. Let's touch it. And like immediately they hold out their hand and be like, just saw him kill an entire squadron, but now we have a connection. So also, let's touch it.
You notice Mothra killed almost every guard in like one hit or one bite.
Yeah.
But then when it came to the scientist, like she was fiddling with that machine. Every time she got it wrong, Mothra would just shoot web at her or silk.
Yeah, and miss.
Yeah. What the hell? I hate it really bothers me when they do that. Clearly they ran out of ideas how to get them out of the situation.
But we need to jack up the tension. I found that they explained a lot of things way too much.
Oh yeah. Like there's some things I don't know if you can do without explaining, like the history of these monsters.
Well, I don't mind that. It was like they explained the same thing over and over again. There was a few times where it would be like, oh, we're tracking Godzilla and he's going to go nuclear in 5 minutes. And then it would cut to another group of people being like, according to our readings, Godzilla is going to go nuclear in about 4.5 minutes. It's like, yeah, we know. And then Bradley Whitford was there solely to do countdowns and quips, just to give status updates on numbers. Oh yeah, that was his job.
So for the scientists of Monarch, there were 5 scientists in total. The Japanese guy, which I can't remember,
Ken Want to Be. I never caught his actual name in the movie.
The other Japanese girl,
Dr. Ling. I remember her. Because she has a sister, apparently.
Twins, right?
Yeah, they were twins, like the Mothra twins from the Japanese movie.
Yeah, that's weird.
I liked.
I was wondering, like, it looked familiar. I wasn't sure if that was a reference to something.
That was one thing I'm glad they explained more than once, because they reveal that she has a twin sister by showing the twin sister, like, taking off her hood in a different location. But because this is, like, brand new information, I was just like, oh, she got over there quick. Okay. Because they just call her Dr. Ling. They don't give her a first name.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So you're just like, oh, okay, she got over there. And then it wasn't until later that they showed picture of the two of them together. And I was like, oh, she's twins. There's 2 of them. Oh. I
won't lie. I didn't catch that until it was like a few scenes after they showed the photos. I was like,
oh, they were twins.
Because she was talking about her mom, right? And I was like, because the twins look a little bit different. Doesn't the hairstyle? I was like,
and the twins never meet in the movie.
No,
that was solely like supposed to be a Godzilla fan Easter egg, I think. Probably. Because in the Japanese movie, there was these 2 tiny Japanese girls who would hang out with Mothra. They were like Mothra's hype men, and like Mothra would show up and they would sing a song and they'd be like Mothra, Mothra.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
man, that was annoying.
I believe that's what they're referencing with that.
Makes sense.
Anyway,
but like I think those are the only 2 scientists that really needed to be there. The other 2 or 3 were completely there for pure comedic relief.
And Thomas Middleditch, who's a very funny actor, not all that funny in this movie.
Was he the younger scientist?
Yeah, with the beard.
Yeah, he bothered me.
He was like, it's not that he wasn't funny. Like, he just played it very straight, which I feel like that's not what he was hired to do.
Yeah, if they just went that route and they just gave us like goofy characters.
Yeah.
Because the movie is
memorable characters. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to remember any of these people a few days from now.
I don't even remember their names. It sucks.
Well,
I feel bad.
I didn't catch any of their names.
I mean, I'm bad with names usually, but this seems worse for me.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you Kyle Chandler's name, like the main guy.
Do you want to guess what it is? I bet you.
Oh, it's probably like John Stamos. His name was John Stamos, right?
100%.
Yeah, it was just kind of disjointed too. Like there were certain things where it's weird because they over-explained a lot of stuff, but then there was other stuff that was more implied. I felt like it needed to be explained. Well, some things like Kyle Chandler, the first time we see him, he's a wildlife photographer and he's photographing a wolf pack eating something. And then as the movie goes on, Like he keeps talking about animal behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And like he kind of doesn't tame Godzilla, but like he stares down Godzilla and like they have a moment.
Yeah.
And it's kind of implied because he understands animals so well. But then I don't think they ever explained what his expertise was other than he was the ex-husband and his ex-wife and daughter were kidnapped. I mean,
He was a drunk.
was he though?
Probably.
That was the other thing. He said that's what drove his wife away was his drinking. Never lifts a drink in the entire movie. There's not even a scene where it's like, well, we lost. And he's just like, I need a drink. You know, like there's never that moment. It's a lot of
Explaining, not showing.
yeah. And then they don't tell you the right information. Anyway.
They killed off Ken Watanabe's character.
Oh yeah, they did.
That was.
Oh, that scene drove me nuts.
Why is that?
Okay, so to set it all up.
Actually, yeah, I'll let you say yours and then I'll say mine.
Okay, it might be the same thing.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, so to set it up, so there's a huge fight, and at some point in the middle of the movie, Godzilla loses, and they think that Godzilla. Oh my god! I just remembered the oxygen missile they shot at them. So Godzilla dies because the military decides that they need to take action. So they shoot this missile that gets rid of all of the oxygen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Godzilla dies, but then they're like, well, maybe he's not dead. And so they go looking for him with a submarine and some nukes. And they're like, we're going to restart him. We're going to shoot some nukes at him. That'll give him enough power. That'll wake him up. And so they get pulled down through this weird vortex or whatever. They find him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's sleeping in this giant temple. And they go to get a little closer, and then the Bradley Whitford, doing his only job, says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! We got some high radiation levels here. Let's not go that far." And then so Ken Wantabe is like, "I will go." And then they're like, "Whoa, you can't go." And he's like, "There's no time to discuss this." And it's like, actually, there's lots of times to discuss this, but. All right, fine. You've settled on killing yourself, delivering this nuclear bomb. So go ahead. And while they're doing that, Bradley Whitford says something along the lines of like, well, if the heat doesn't kill you, the radiation will.
Mm-hmm.
And Ken Watanabe gets in a tiny sub that has a small nuclear missile in it. And he goes in, and then there was an air bubble. There's an air pocket. And so he climbs out of his sub. He brings a nuke up, and he puts it down. And he sets off the timer, and he's already dead. He's a walking dead at this point, and he goes up to Godzilla. But that scene drove me crazy because he showed no side effects of the heat or the radiation.
Right?
And like I was just watching it, being like, there's a part in it where he takes off his glove, and I was like, your hand would immediately burst into flames if it's that hot.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's feet away from lava, not cooling lava, like lava that is shooting up because it's so hot. His hair would be melting. His fingernails would be melting.
And just to give you an idea,
melting.
Before they decided on this plan, they had 3 drones go into this temple. 2 of them immediately burned up, and then the third
underwater.
one,
by the way, this is before they broke the surface. 2 of them burned up in the water.
Yeah, and then the one that did break the surface died within 10 seconds.
Yeah,
yeah. So machines have failed, but he's fine to take off his gear.
Takes off his glove. Takes off his helmet. By the way, if there was that much radiation, he would be puking his guts out by that point. And so that just took me out of the movie.
Like, why would you mention that detail if you're not going to play on it?
He was just like a way of saying it's a suicide mission. But like, I know it's my own fault for like thinking too hard about it. But the movie at that point had become so exhausting and so boring to me that you start thinking about stuff like that.
That's fair.
For example, you look at Endgame. Lots of people have pointed out plot holes with the time travel since then. But in the movie, you don't care because you're invested in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, I was just like, well, I have time to think about this. And it's pulling me further away from being invested.
Actually, I noticed a few times in the movie, like you would flip your hand up, like the what the hell gesture.
Yeah.
And look over and it's like, yeah, I agree with that. I see you check your phone twice and it's like, oh, yep, I'm feeling it too.
It was a long movie. Man, how long was it? Did you check the runtime?
No, but
it felt like two and a half hours.
No, it wasn't 2.5 hours. Well, we got there at 4:30. We got out at 6:30.
I guess it was only 2. Okay.
2 hours, 12 minutes.
Okay.
It definitely felt longer.
Victor, we've kind of been harping on this. Do you have something that you really liked about this movie? A saving grace, if you will.
I really like the designs. Honestly, the designs of the monsters, the monster fights, however short they are and hard to see. Yeah, I think those are definitely that's what you come here to see, and those parts are the good parts, which is too bad because it's only maybe about a third of the movie at most.
Mm-hmm. Also,
Yeah.
what was the whole thing with he ripped one of Ghidorah's heads off, and then Ghidorah immediately grew it back?
Yeah.
It's like, what was the point of that?
The end credits scene, they show that head that Godzilla ripped off. Some fishermen's found it, and they're selling it to
Charles Dance.
I remember his name.
I know his name. I memorized it because I thought he was playing the same character Tom Hiddleston was playing in Kong Skull Island.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I gotta remember this name so that I can look it up later. It was Jonah Allen or Alan Jonah, one of those two. And Tom Hiddleston was not playing that character, so it was worthless.
I don't know. What did you think of the movie? Any points that you liked?
Yeah, the monster fights were well done. I think it didn't deliver on like the movie I wanted from it, based on what the first movie was. But as far like they were well done. Like they were interesting, and I don't know. I understood the geography of where everybody was. Oh, what did I like? I actually did really like Charles Dance. I liked that there was a terrorist group who was interested in releasing the monsters, and I did like that the twist of like that she was working with them. I just didn't like the daughter aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably could have cut Millie's part out.
Which is too bad because she's pretty good in this movie. It's just everybody is pretty good, as you said,
Yeah.
but it's just writing.
Like a lot of the characters could have been cut out. Like instead of Millie having a change of heart, just have the wife do it.
Yeah.
Because there was no repercussions to it. Like that terrorist group didn't go after her. They didn't do anything.
Does this make you more or less excited to see Godzilla versus King Kong?
I'm more excited purely for the fact that like it's a smaller scale movie. There's not going to be potentially 17 monsters on screen. It's just going to be Godzilla and King Kong, hopefully.
I wonder what the story is going to be, because they kind of blew their wad in this movie where they fought the other apex predator, and now all the other monsters at the end bowed down to him because he is king of the monsters.
Well, they mentioned that Kong is also an apex predator.
So it's just this plot again without the orca stuff?
Yes.
All right.
I like these big monster movies, so I don't really care too much about the story. I care when they put too much story, or they try to put too much story in.
Yeah, I think that was this movie's biggest flaw, is that they really wanted you to concentrate and care about the human aspect of it, but it wasn't a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't a compelling human story. And so it's just kind of felt tacked on a little bit, which is too bad because all of these actors are great. If you love Godzilla movies, I think you'll be fine watching this. But if you're going in for, be like, oh, maybe I'll check out that Godzilla movie. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's long. It's arduous. What do you think, Victor?
I agree. 100%.
Victor and I earlier, a few weeks ago, decided 5 movies we're going to watch this summer and review for the podcast. Kind of wish we had chosen Aladdin.
Oh, I was saying, kind of wish we checked Rocket Man. Literally anything else. Anything else. Anything else would have been fine.
It's okay. I mean, it was a movie experience. We saw it in IMAX. It's always fun to see stuff on the big screen.
And again,
loud
it's like I said earlier, like if I hadn't watched this now, I would have dragged myself out and watched this later somewhere else and be upset about it later.
Okay. Anyway.
That wraps it up there.
Do it. Wrap it. Don't literally wrap it, Victor.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. It's been another episode of The Average Uninformed. And that's our review for Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Let us know what you think.
King of the garbage. It wasn't that bad.
But let us know what you think of the movie.
Okay, just one last thought.
All right.
I feel like I missed a lot of the movie because I was rolling my eyes so much.
You missed 5 minutes of screen time because you were rolling your eyes. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us at averageuninformed@gmail.com. And we'll talk to you guys again next week for
something.
Yeah, something. We'll figure it out. Anyways, bye.
Bye.